And the Oscar goes to...
Who cares? The Academy Awards, hereafter referred to as the Oscars, represent a philosophy in American society that I find particularly grating. Being the best.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was.
There's nothing wrong with being good, but why do we feel we have to honor movies, TV shows, music, and theater that are considered best? The problem with best suggests that something merits existing. The same thing works with worst, but in the opposite way. It's quite a feat to create something that is hands down considered one of the best motion pictures ever made, but it's hard to create a feature at all. A lot of films get greenlit over the course of a year, but just think of all the ideas and scripts that get turned down or are blacklisted for being unfilmable. Most times blacklisted scripts turn out to be Oscar darlings, kind of like American Hustle. But what did that film win? A big fat nothing! But going back to being the best, are these films really a representation of what American audiences consider to be the best of the year? While the American public aren't the ones voting for the Oscars, they can definitely have a hand in swaying the people who do. Hence the reason in 2004 when the topical Crash won over Brokeback Mountain.
And the Oscar goes to... Crash.
While some thought Crash was a preachy snooze fest, others felt that Brokeback Mountain portrayed a much richer story. Even actor Jack Nicholson expressed in surprise when he announced the Best Picture winner that year.
Crash.
Hey, I've got an idea. What if we hosted a 3-hour-long awards show and we announced only 24 winners? That equates to about one winner every 7.5 minutes, but does that happen? No. In order to fill that time, there's also lame jokes from the host, some musical numbers, and other extraneous things. The only other part of the Oscars that I think merits some sort of existing at all is the in memoriam. It's nice to see the people who have made an impact on the medium who have passed away over the course of the year. Ceremonies for the Oscars have gotten longer and longer as the years have drawn on. The first ceremony, held in 1929, was 15 minutes. It also only presented winners in 12 categories. It was a very low-key affair with only 270 people in attendance. Cut to 88 years later, and you have a 217-minute-long ceremony. Money's not the only thing that's inflated since the good old days. To further add to the transparency of the Oscars, there appears to be a time during the year that a majority of the films nominated in January are released. Those dates fall anywhere from late October to late December, and those films in between that time seem to be manufactured for awards. And yeah, they kind of are. A lot of films around this time feature any one of the following things: beautiful cinematography, alien invasion, musical, interpersonal drama, race, intense crying, based on true events, and many more. It almost seems like these tropes have been more integrated into the Oscar sphere as time has gone on, so it makes what's going to be nominated fairly homogeneous and easy to pick out. Things weren't always like this though, as this only seems to be a trend within the last 15-ish years. For a few decades, the Oscars limited the Best Picture nominees to 5.
It all comes down to these 5.
These films were usually released throughout the year and were tougher to call based on the smaller margin of the nomination block. Things got especially weird when, in 1991, The Silence of the Lambs won Best Picture. A horror movie win Best Picture? What is this balderdash? To hammer home the odd air of this ceremony, I'd also like to point out that Beauty and the Beast was also in the running for that award, so like I said, weird. The pretentiousness might also come down to the fact the Academy is unproportionally made up of actors as opposed to directors, producers, costume designers, etc. So it opens the floodgates for movies like The Artist and Birdman to win because they're about performance. The hilarious thing is, Hollywood tried to capitalize on this with a movie called The Oscar, and it failed. Like, big time. And let's face it, a sizable chunk of performers have pretty big heads about themselves. I'm guilty of it too, it's fine. But could it be that the Oscars' overblown nature is really due to just these stars? Not entirely. I choose to believe it's more to give the people at home the experience they can't have in their jobs as a daycare owner or a dental technician. Producers, well, produce the show that they think audiences wish to see, which usually results in a bloated, overlong, and incredibly sporadically paced ceremony that results in a few Emmy nominations and a ton of critiques on what to try better on next year. Yet, I love it. Every young actor or actress has a dream of just standing there up on that stage and accepting that golden statue and being able to say, yes, I was the best blank of that year. No one can take that away from me. Being personally chosen as the top performer of that year is one of the most euphoric feelings any performer can feel. The level of vapidity is really equivalent to that of, say, the fictional Hunger Games. And in a way, those two events are similar in more ways than one, but that's a topic for another day. Award shows may always be the epitome of glorification of excess in this country, but hey, it's always kind of fun to see if the person you're rooting for is going to bring home the gold. This is Dustin signing off, but only for now.